Everybody, it's Jen, and I am here with for lack of a better term, I'm here with a showcase of Valentine ornaments for Vintage Image Craft contest. The guys, Scott and Martin, are the guys who run Vintage Image Craft. They're on Facebook, and they're forever giving away free images, and I have used some of the images from the ones that they have given away. And then I had also purchased some images from them, and I've used some of those also. And I have made 5 different things. I don't know what got into me, but I was feeling it. So, having said that, I'm going to start with the last one. You know it wouldn't be a me video unless I yawn, right? So anyhow, this is my least favorite one, but I like it in ways and I don't like it in others. So I will probably work on this particular one a little bit more just to get it to where I like it. And this is the one. This is the image. This is on a ceramic heart. And the image that's on here, it's a little Cupid. His bow's down here. And he's kind of lamenting because his heart's broken. And I used this image from Graphic 45. So I just cut that out and just dressed it up a little bit and put that on there. So he's kind of lamenting that he doesn't have a relationship or a beau or a mate is what I'm trying to say. And then I used some flatback pearls here. I used Karen Foster paper here and kind of made this bursty thing here. And some rosette trim with these little brownie mauve pearls in there. And then on the other side, these words were also on this image, and then on the background is some Karen Foster paper. So I just put this on the back, used the same motif, and did this. And I hate this ribbon. I don't know what possessed me to put this ribbon on there. It just does not fit. So that's definitely going to go away. But there may be some other things that change in here. So that's that one. The second one, it's kind of more guy-ish. And this is on one of these tin heart things. And it's ridged. And I used some vintage music sheets. Very vintage. This is where they came from. And I don't know how old this was, but it was 60 cents, so it's got to be pretty old. And this was the image, and it had this phrase attached to it. So I just separated them, and so I used this banner, and I backed it with some cherry cobbler Stampin' Up! Paper, just so it didn't look so empty. And I did the same with this little guy here. And then I took some Perfect Pearls watercolors and kind of just highlighted him a little bit more and added some, I think you could pick it up here. You could see it in the drum. I used some here to give his drum a little shimmer and highlight the shadows on his body. And then I covered him with some paper glaze so that he was stiff, and then I popped him up on some dimensionals. And all this paper was decoupaged on. I just ran some ribbon randomly here and there. I used some flowers here and up here, and that's it for that one. Let's see if I can get out a little bit on this, and I'll have pictures on Facebook too. So I kind of like that one, but it's simple enough that it could be for a guy. So that's kind of why I did it. The third one I did, the base of it started with this, a little petri dish. It's a plastic petri dish, and I wasn't sure where I was going, but I knew that I wanted to use this piece. So this is what I came up with on this one, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it real well, but I used both sides, and I used 2 different images here with this. So I used a sentiment from one thing, and I used an image from another image. So that was that. And then I put that on some cardstock so that it was a little bit more sturdy. And as it turned out, I didn't have to glue it in there, because what I did instead was, I also, wait, before I go any further, it's Karen Foster paper on the back. And then I just cut out this thing I used to Stampin' Up! Curly label punch, or whatever punch it was. And just made the border on here. And then I cut out these little pansy things. And highlighted those with some Perfect Pearls watercolor. And it just kind of gave those a little bit of shimmer on there. And then I also did that with this background image, which you can't really tell it on here unless you're really looking at it up close and personal. But you could tell that there's some flowers in there that have some other color to them. Otherwise, they would have been washed out. You wouldn't have been able to see it. So then I took, see how those little hearts are moving? I just punched those out, glittered them up. I punched out, there's really two on each one. And it's backed in the string. And then I hung those in there. I put the image in, I hung these in, and then I put this, I don't know if you could see it in there. See that? I'm getting this glare from my light, and I apologize, but there's not a lot I could do about that. I put like this tinsel ribbon in there. I glued that in, and that anchored the picture. So the picture isn't going to move. And then I threw in some Martha Stewart tinsel glitter and some flaky glitter. And I used these ribbon roses all along and put half pearls in and amongst there. And I got this charm from Susie, and it did not have a hole in it, so I busted out my Dremel and I put a hole in it. And I don't have like a real clamp, so yeah, that was a challenge, but it ended up working out. So there you go. I need to get a smaller bit though. Then I used some roses. I don't know, they either came from I Am Roses or Wild Orchid Crafts. I have no idea. So mulberry roses is what I'm going to say from now on. And some these were actually from a Christmas spray. These little balls here were from a Christmas spray. And I did the exact same thing on the top. And I did this ribbon. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I drilled a hole in to the plastic piece. So I just took this piece, I drilled a hole here, and straight across I drilled another hole, and fed this ribbon in and glued it in, as well as this one. So each one of these are anchored inside. They're not like hooked onto anything externally. And then I use this ribbon. So this is the, I don't know, this is the whole thing. I guess you'll be able to see it better here. So that's the whole ornament. I finished like 2 sides of everything 9 times out of 10 because I don't know why. It's an illness, I think. So anyway, moving right along, for this next one, I used a picture frame as the base that I got at Michael's. And I don't know if you could, I'm going to try to get this in here. There we go. That's the image that I used for this one, which is obviously part of a big image. So I took this frame and I used, it was silver initially, which you could still pick up some of the silver. And I wanted to be able to pick up some of the silver because I wanted it to be like I wanted it to look old and a little bit scrappy. So I took some Spica pens and I colored in the wings on the angel. Did this one in blue, did this one a little clear. Gave his eyes a little bit of sparkle. And I did some of the clouds in the back. Some of this stuff you just can't tell till you're really looking at it. But on here, this is Rub and Buff on here. And so I put that on. And then I used some beaded trim that I glued on first. And then I glued on... this beaded trim started off looking like this. Wait a minute. Looked like this when this project started. So there's that. So then I put that on there. Then I put this trim on around. And then I put this little beading on around here. And then I did the lace, which I just ruffled and glued all the way around. And a seam binding ribbon that I put these same, man, I want to talk about this in a minute. I put the same pearls here on here. And I did not color this because it didn't need it, I don't think. Then I took little rhinestones and put them in there and just gave it this color for a little bit of pop. And then I glued each of these down individually, otherwise they would have drooped. And that was that for that. And then on the back I just did a quick little flower just so it didn't have any raw spots, and just, you know, if you like this side better, then have at it, you know. So that is this little guy. So that's my fourth one. And then my fifth one is this is my favorite one, I think. It was just a wooden frame that I decoupaged on with that same paper. And I just put it on and then just dressed the heck out of it. And then this is a wooden, just a little wooden heart. And this started out as so many different things that I think this heart is really actually about 3 or 4 layers thick, because I didn't like it as it was turning out. So I kept covering it with something else. And now I like it. So this is one image. I'll show you the other side in a minute. And it's all distressed and around. And then I used this ribbon here, and I put it around the edges. And then I put this trim in also. So that's that side. And then I put these couple little cherry blossom roses up there too. And then on the other side, which I didn't have to turn that around because I'll show you in a minute. So I did the exact same thing on this side. I used the exact same motif. And then this ribbon was very big. It was a lot bigger than this. So I hit it with a heat gun and it shrunk it perfectly. It was just, I couldn't believe how well it worked out. Because it was very, very puffy, and it kind of filled in all this space here. And it was looking terrible. So I just shrunk it. And now it's nice and tight, and it looks, I really like it. But this spins. So you can use one side or the other side. So you don't have to turn it or move it. But just in case you want to put it in a space that you can see both sides, I made them identical. So I just put the flower in both corners. And then on the top of it, I did this hold on, I gotta move. You know where you're attached on me, don't you? So up here I did a couple, I don't know what these are called, flowers, mulberry flowers, here and here. I put 2 here and then a pink one in the middle, and then I highlighted this in gold, and I did the exact same thing on the other side, as you can see. And then I took the seam binding and inked it all up and dried it and squished it and marked it with a B and pulled the threads and made it all ruffly, and just kind of tacked it down where it needed to be tacked, so that when you're looking at it, it's a whole thing. So that is my vintage image craft showcase, and I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did have a lot of fun making these, and I haven't crafted anything in forever. So this was quite a bit of things for me to do in a short amount of time. I don't know. I can't remember when that contest started, but I started as soon as the rules came through. So whenever that was. So anyway, if you guys get a chance, check them out. Vintage Image Craft. There is vintageimagecraft.com, or you could catch them on Facebook. Either way. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Hugs and squishes. Bye.